Brilliance Audio presents Lean Brands, Catch Customers, Drive Growth, and Stand Out in All Markets by Luis Pedroza, performed by Tom Rivera. Building a differentiated brand in a foreign market requires agility. Each time you prepare to enter a new market, you must revalidate your industry assumptions and be willing to reframe your perspective of the competitive landscape. So get ready to unpack your assumptions and prepare to be surprised. Reframe your perspective. The truth is, you can't just flip a switch and change your paradigm. So here is an exercise to help you gain a fresh perspective on your competition. List out the major assumptions that underpin how you operate in your home market. Then, validate that they still apply to the new market you are trying to enter. Pay particular attention to 1. The target. Who are your target users, and what needs does your product solve for them? Do consumers in the new market have the same needs? 2. Market size. How many target users are there in your new market, and what percentage of them will buy your brand? What is the potential size of the prize? 3. Competitive environment. Who are your direct and indirect competitors? Are there barriers to entry? What attributes and benefits do they compete on? 4. Consumer purchasing power. Do your target consumers have enough money to purchase your product the way it is currently designed? Realistically, how often can they afford to repeat their purchase? 5. Pricing. Should you position your brand as a premium or everyday product? Is the price per use aligned to the average income level? 6. Demographics. Is the target population growing or in decline? Do factors like age or ethnicity play a role in shaping consumer needs? 7. Category life cycle. Is the category life cycle at a different stage of development? If so, how will this affect communication and the appeal of your product's benefits? 8. Value chain. How will your product get distributed to the end user? Who are the key stakeholders involved in the supply chain, and what are their expectations? Get ready for lots of change. In today's increasingly urbanized, fast-changing environment, entering new markets with properly branded offerings has never been more necessary. On my first trip to Nanjing, China in 1998, I visited local grocery stores and noticed that most of the products being sold were only offered in bulk-style clear bags, and hardly any had branding. At that time, Nanjing was an emerging second-tier city in China. When I returned 3 years later, everything had changed. Not only were there more Western brands on the shelves, but many local brands had become more westernized by incorporating glossy printed packaging with well-designed illustrated logos. Pay attention to emerging cities. In 1990, there were only 10 megacities in the world, with more than 10 million people living in them. Now, the United Nations projects that by 2030, there will be more than 40 such megacities globally, and by 2050, 66% of the world's population will be living in urban areas. Beyond well-known megacities like Shanghai, Mumbai, and Mexico City, there are many emerging cities that should be on your radar as you plan for growth. In the past, and unfortunately even today, most large companies focus primarily on megacities, leaving emerging cities to be developed by distributors and brokers. According to Boston Consulting Group, by 2030, there will be more than 1,000 cities in emerging markets with populations over 500,000. That means at least an additional 1.3 billion consumers will be living in emerging market cities, compared to 100 million new consumers calling existing developed cities their home.